a.m. tomorrow morning.
Later in the future.
18.
Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche Pregame Show presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Jesse and Rudo coming to you live as the Avs take on the Winnipeg Jets. Before we dive into today's show, did drop a video a couple hours ago on Dmitry Kulikov, another potential Avs target at the trade deadline.
I thought he'd be too rich by the time that they got to him, but at this point, the market's shrinking so much.
Yep.
Go at him. And with all that LTIR space, go at him, go at him.
The amount of concern for our draft day show just continues to rise.
Dude, I actually almost, when we were talking about our plan for the show this week, I was almost going to be like, should we just call it off? Should we just call it off? We won't even have enough to talk about on the 1 hour show at this rate.
Two trades that happen on draft day.
Yeah, we'll break the couple AHL prospect swaps that are left on the table by the time we get to trade deadline day.
It's not great one way or another. Yeah. For the Avs side of things, it is Alexander Georgiev tonight, and it does look like the plan is for him to start both on this back-to-back with JoJo backing up. No Cale Makar, not that that's a big surprise. Does sound like he's progressing okay. But
yeah, and it sounds like he's potentially going to be an option for Monday. They're going to reassess when they get back in town. But, yeah, he's definitely out tonight, definitely out tomorrow. But, yeah, we'll see.
So, no big surprises on that front. Looking forward a little bit, I know you and Megan talked about this on your At the Rink pod, but Gabe Landeskog is skating again.
Yep.
Don't get too excited. That means he's probably still 3 weeks, a month away.
Yeah,
but
so honestly, that first day we saw him skating, I was actually thinking, ooh, you're maybe even still like 5 to 6.
Yeah.
He's really progressed a lot each day that he's been on the ice.
Sure.
And there is someone on the bench that he is going and checking in with constantly. I'm assuming it's the head of the training staff, doctors and stuff like that. So I would say 3 to 4 weeks is a fair estimation where you can start putting that on your radar.
Hopefully so. Obviously, these will be conversations that we reassess exactly where things are at after the trade deadline and what the Avs have exactly done. It's a little all over the place right now for Colorado. I think we've talked a lot about how they certainly need a defenseman at this point, given the EJ situation, and some type of forward. There have also been things swirling out there that the Avs might not do a ton this deadline, coming from guys like Friedman and things like that.
Well, and dude, I really do think so much of that is just what has happened to the market very quickly. And now it sounds like Patrick Kane is maybe even in like the Claude Giroux
New York style.
Yeah, where it's like, that's where I'm going, or I'm not going anywhere. So you can maybe even take him off the board. Like, I think you're just kind of stepping back and saying, like, I do think that the Avs, if there's something out there, they're going to be active. And I don't think they're afraid to spend a first-round pick or a high-end prospect, but it's got to be, like, worth it. And your options for that are limited. And now with Adam Henrique going to be out some time, I don't know.
I said this to AJ off air the other day, but everything is lining up for the Avs to go get my boy Max Domi.
Those are literally when you were done talking, regardless of what you said, I was gonna say, and honestly, man, it's looking more and more like it's gonna be Max Domi.
It's just the way things have worked out.
I mean, they've checked in on him at multiple deadlines now.
Yeah,
he plays hard. He's hard. He's I think about so much the line that Nico Sturm gave us last year. I'm hard to play against, not in the sense that I'm going to put you into the fourth row, but I'm just going to be a pain in the ass. I'm always going to be in your hip pocket.
Pest style.
Right,
yeah.
right. And like, dude, honestly, a third line of Max Domi, JT Compher, Alex Newhook,
Evan Rodriguez, whoever. One of those dudes is your 2C. Yeah.
Those four guys in some type of shuffle, or even just Max Domi out there with Val Nichushkin or Gabe Landeskog in a second line role, like that's just annoying to play against. And he's had a really good year in Chicago.
He has. Exciting times. More of that talk to come through the next week as we lead up to the trade deadline. Getting into tonight, Avs versus Winnipeg. Is this an Armageddon game? No. Is this an important one? Yeah. You're talking about battling for the second position in the Central tonight. Avs wouldn't take it if they win, but they have games in hand on Winnipeg. This is a 4-point game.
Yeah.
My question to you is, who is the pressure on more tonight? Is it on Colorado to climb back into this, or is it on Winnipeg to defend their spot?
Had Minnesota not won last night, I would say it's Winnipeg. But look, at the end of the day, the Avs have played the fewest number of games in the NHL. All three of those teams that they're looking up at, if you... The general rule of thumb with games in hand is you just assume those are all wins.
Yep.
Again, and that's mostly from the standpoint of the teams that are trying to hold you off. So if you're Dallas, Winnipeg, and Minnesota, well, guess what? If those three games for the Avs are all wins, the Avs are sitting in first in the Central and everyone bumps down a spot.
Yep.
So all three of those teams are absolutely looking over their shoulder. It's Colorado that they're looking at. Yeah, they're all kind of in close, but they've all got the same number of games played. Where they're at is where they're at. Like I said, with games in hand, the Avs sit atop the Central Division, if you assume that they win those three games.
Appreciate Dallas losing to Chicago the other night.
Dude, no kidding. In regulation, no less. But so, as much as I do think that the Avs are feeling a little bit of heat tonight, get a win, get back into that top three, even though you're already there by points percentage. Get yourself back into the top three, and really, really put the fire to Winnipeg's feet here. Like, hey, not only do we still have 3 games in hand, but now we're just 2 points back. I mean, that's basically a pass at this point. You know what I mean? Like, you can almost assume the Avs will overtake.
The Avs would have to throw at that point.
Right, right. Things would have to go pretty bad. And look, I did laugh because I do think back to right as we were coming out of the break, some of like the doom and gloom that we've been seeing in the comments. The Avs are 11-2-2 in their last 15 games. Jared Bednar, I asked him yesterday if he felt like, because he had acknowledged our play still needs to get a little bit better. But I said, do you think the intensity is ramping up? And right away he goes, no question. He's like, you can just feel it in the room when you walk in there. The intensity is going up. The mindset is like the focus is narrowing. And he said that they have officially turned their sights to, we want to win the Central.
I've never been a big fan of experience and talking about those guys who have been there before, but it's also not nothing.
Right.
It does matter. People that know what that turn up feels like.
So here's the best example that you can look at right now. Go back just a couple weeks to the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles played that first half perfect.
Yep.
They did everything right. And they didn't make adjustments into the second half. They said, just keep doing what we're doing. And the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that was in their third Super Bowl in just the last handful of years.
Came out and picked them apart.
Right.
Yeah.
And they came out and they said, we made our adjustments. We are dialing up what we're doing. We know that there's nothing beyond this half. This is it. We're leaving everything out here. And that game ended up switching to really, it ended being not very close. And that was, I agree with you 100%, Rudo. You can't purely be like, oh, well, they've got more experience, so they're good. But in those types of moments where it's like the one team knows how to flip the switch and the other one doesn't,
yep,
it does count for something.
Yep.
And that's what I think you are starting to see a little bit with this Avs group. And I think the Edmonton game was a great representation of that. Them starting to level it up doesn't mean they're going to play perfectly every night, but they just have that will, that extra gear. And again, like that Edmonton game was funny because they just wouldn't go away. They weren't playing any better, but they like just kept finding a way to like stumble into more goals. And stay within arm's reach.
Well, it's not better play, but they didn't pack it in, right?
Right. And then the pendulum eventually swung, and then they did have the momentum. They were pressing the play, and that led to that, Mikko Rantanen driving the net, and I still don't know what Jack Campbell is doing till this day.
Well, the thing is, Mikko's done that to multiple goalies. Like, he gets them to come out of their net. So
now I will say I rewatched that goal several times that night, and it did look like there was like one extra little pause. Like, he did a little fake, and then right when you'd expect him to shoot coming out of the fake, he did take like an extra half beat. Jack Campbell still just stopped in the middle of the ice.
He was nowhere.
Right. Regardless, but I do think that game was a great example of that, and you can even trace it back to Game 4 of the Western Conference Final last year against that same Edmonton team, where I just felt like the Avs kind of did that again. Like, yeah, we haven't been this far, but like we've been in these moments now several times where you guys have been at home.
Exactly right. The game situation didn't matter. The Avs were like, look, we know we're capable of winning this game. We're just going to go out and do it.
Right.
And it's not just the feeling that they know they can do that. It's understanding how to do it.
Yeah.
That matters.
And again, we've seen it so many times with this Avs team going back the last number of years, obviously culminating in this last summer.
Worked out pretty okay.
Right. But again, this really is that point where I want to make sure that I make it clear how much I agree with what you said, that it's not like having that experience isn't everything. You can't rest on that. But this is why you see teams who win a Stanley Cup get back or get close so many times in the years following, because there is just there's a way that you understand game situations in a little bit different light when you get there.
Just to clarify in chat, technically a player could be traded while they were injured. The player has to agree to it, and the teams have to agree to it, because obviously he's not going to pass a physical if he's injured. But if the team agrees to waive the physical, it can happen. Yeah. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's verbiage in there to protect against guys getting dealt while they're on the shelf, but it's not
set in stone. Yeah. The other topic I wanted to get into tonight, as we always have our king of the games, lately we've been having a lot of princes of games as well. So I wanted to get into this. The Avs have gotten pretty solid production out of their depth on this last 3-game streak through these back-to-backs, asking guys who have legs, especially on the back halves of them, to step up. Which of these guys, let's call it the Avs bottom 6 forwards, who's the most important one for Colorado right now?
JT doesn't count?
Yeah, he's top 6 at this point.
All right. It's got to be Alex Newhook, right?
I agree, even if his impact in these last few games hasn't been that big.
Are you saying that? Are you asking who needs to be or who has been?
Who needs to be?
Who needs to be? I think it needs to be him, because that's just that role that, honestly, I feel like you've had JT Compher in that slot the last few years, where late in the season, again, and into playoffs, he's just been able to provide enough offense, not what you want, not what you dream on for.
But he gets you there.
He gets you there. He gets it. Maybe we put a little bit too much focus on always in the big moments for Compher. While that does seem to be true, it's more of like a, wow, we really needed one, and holy shit, our top guys couldn't get it done. We really needed one, and wouldn't you know it, JT Compher showed up with him kind of elevating this season. And I think you were the one that mentioned it the other day, Rudo, like 38 points in 55 games. Let's call a spade here. He's been a 2C this season.
Yep. His production is just there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you need Alex Newhook to be at least what JT Compher has been for you the last couple of years, and really, made an underrated impact in getting them to a Stanley Cup championship, especially in that Western Conference Final.
Yep.
That's the role that the Avs need Alex Newhook to play. I'm asking you to be JT Compher. Like, I'm not asking for much.
Not asking the world there.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty reasonable. Be JT Compher, and I think everyone's happy with that.
So I think part of the reason you focus in on Alex Newhook especially is because of where Evan Rodriguez has been.
Yes.
Out of the All-Star break, he hasn't been great. I think a lot of people look at his history and go, boy, he sure fell off in the second half a lot last year.
Right.
So there's a little bit of balance there. If Erod gets hot again, he can help fill that role as well as Alex Newhook can. But especially longer term, you're looking at Alex Newhook as a guy who should become a staple of the middle six of Colorado.
Now, what's so interesting, dude, is Evan Rodriguez has been staying out on the ice. He's been the last one off by like quite a bit. Him and Alex Newhook have been
putting
working
in the extra,
a lot of extra time. So you can tell that it's not. You can tell Evan Rodriguez is aware of the narrative.
Sure. About
the way last season went, coming out of the All-Star break. Like, he is very aware of it. And, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how he handles that kind of pressure here in the back half. Because he's another guy like Compher.
Yep.
We have to eventually, at a certain point, call it what it is. Up to this point, he's been a legit top six forward for this team.
Yeah.
And the Avs need him to continue to be at least until they get Gabe Landeskog back.
Or whatever trade piece
or
or
whatever trade piece comes in, but yeah, I really do, man. I think this team has the potential to go back to back because I think you kind of see the natural succession here of the roles that players have filled in on. You just need them to continue that.
Right.
To get
they have
there.
to find the consistency.
Right.
That's absolutely the key there. All right. We can move into betting. I make no promises about making anybody money because we don't have Blaze's bets tonight.
Yeah.
But I'll try and get you some dollars here.
I'm taking Mikko over half a power play point at plus 140.
I do like that. The Avs definitely need the power play value. I always love going on the 60-minute money line.
I actually took the Avs on that.
Because especially for a division matchup, these are two teams that they don't want to give away that point to the other team. This is a game they both want to end in regulation. Yep. So I do think that's a good target there. You can get the Avs, I think, plus money on the 60-minute. So you probably get them plus money on the regular. I didn't actually check. Obviously, you can go into all of our favorite bets. I saw someone earlier said LOC for first goal. I don't know if I would take that, but I bet you get really good odds if you did. Yeah, look, all right. If you believe in the Avs' depth, just like throw a dart at one of the Avs' bottom six, and you can get good money.
Devon Taves is plus 310 to get a power play point.
So here's the thing: they're having Bo take reps with PP1 though.
That's a great point.
So maybe take is Bo an option for power play points? He's probably not on there.
He's not.
Yeah.
Nope. Compher plus 430. Like that's not bad value for a guy who parts in front of the net.
Yeah, something just hits him.
Right. Yeah.
Can definitely get some value there. Either way, bet on whatever you want over at DraftKings Sportsbook. With a new account, use the DNVR code to sign up today. You bet $5 on anything, you get $200 in free bets. That's a ridiculous amount of money to go play with. Do whatever you want on DraftKings. So jump on it. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. We do have a super chat here from Banks who says, love y'all and what you do for the Avs community. Let's take this 4-point night. Does that say night? And win me some money.
Woo.
Here for it.
Money.
Do have to shout out the community. We just hit 20,000 followers on Twitter yesterday. That's super awesome.
Give a nice salute.
Yeah, I saw the salute emoji.
Yep.
I preferred Megan's heart emoji.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Dude, it is.
But
that was a great call by whoever came up with that. We need hands, heart
making
emoji.
that.
Yeah. It was a good one.
A whole lot of work for a tiny little emoji.
Are you guys excited
Someone's gotta
that
do it,
there'll
though.
finally be a moose emoji?
A what?
There's going to finally be a moose emoji
It's coming.
soon.
Well, it's a head-on moose emoji, right? We have a
so.
walking moose
Yeah.
emoji, I believe.
Yeah, it'll be like the
much
head-on.
much cuter.
We need moose face. Yeah. Confirmed. It's like the name of a serial killer for sure. It's like moose face.
Still on the loose in Southern California.
Jesse, any final thoughts going into tonight's game?
No, I'd like to see them wrap up these back-to-backs nicely. There's 7 of 8 points so far.
If you can make that 10 of 12, you feel real good.
Seriously, yeah. Get a win tonight. And then tomorrow back home is just kind of like, I'm kind of looking at this group of 6 games as like one cluster.
Yeah.
And if you win, like almost kind of like a road trip.
Yep.
You win tonight, the result tomorrow bothers you a lot less. You've made up ground on Winnipeg without giving any games back. I really do think that this is of these two, you need to win tonight. I think you said it earlier. If you lose, it is what it is. You still have 3 games in hand.
Yeah.
But you'd like to win tonight. There's just a lot of implications.
Make your own life easier.
Right. I think that's a great way of putting it. That come with this game, and it kind of takes the pressure off the second half of this tomorrow.
Perfectly summed up. We're going to wrap up our pregame there. We do have a watch-along coming your way. If that's your thing, come listen to me eat wings for the whole first period.
Oh, yeah.
ASMR style. We appreciate all y'all. No matter what, we will be live post-game breaking down the whole game. So be sure to tune into that, and we will talk to you in a little bit.